Alexei Yashin drew a lot of spite with his holdout year. Yorkie, can you take me back as a player? Did anybody care in the room that they don't have the guy that's a 94-point player who's a league MVP finalist? Are they happy to see him out of the room, or are they pissed that he's not there and he's holding out?
Well, I sat directly beside Yash in the dressing room. So I probably knew him for my 5 year span as good as anybody on the team. I think he was very misunderstood because I thought he was getting bad advice and he was listening to his agent. So as a team, we were like, okay, he's not coming back. He's making a bad decision. Were we mad at him? I'd say we were more disappointed. But at the same time, Alfie's game kind of went to the next level at that point, and I think then we realized, hey, this is kind of the real leader of our team now, Daniel Alfredsson. So, you know, it was one of those things, and it's tough with negotiations. And with Yash, so I think he was badly misunderstood. He did want to win. He was a good player. I thought he got bad advice. When he came back, was it different? Not really, because there's certain guys in the locker room. They're there. They don't cause any waves. And I know Yash was given the C. I think part of that was to, and we see this from time to time, you try and hope it inspires a guy to play harder. So you put the letter on his jersey. But some guys, their level of compete is just what it is. They can get it to a certain level, but they can't get it to maybe where the real elite playoff performers get it to. And it's not a knock against the person. It's just some guys are just wired that way, and that's why some guys win and some guys don't. It's as simple as that. And I think with Yash, he was always going to be a good player, but I think deep down in the locker room, everybody knew the team wouldn't win the big and the ultimate thing with status quo.
I'm glad he sat out. Best decision ever.
Well, hey, Knights, that's how correct me if I'm wrong, but I got a pretty good memory. I remember Knights coming to camp, and didn't you try and fight
Yash let me tell a story
at camp? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I was just going to follow up that him sitting out. So I remember talking with my agent. I'd spent 4 years East Coast, AHL, IHL, back to the AHL. They traded my rights. So it was with Detroit. They traded my rights to Ottawa, and I'll never forget. I was fishing with my dad and brother. We were on the lake. We were about a bottle and a half of rum deep, and I had to go to this payphone. The camp came over and said, you got to call Marshall Johnson. I'm like, so they said I got traded. I remember going, my dad and brother, like, well, you got to make a name for yourself. There's a little liquid encouragement there. And so I remember talking to my agent, and it was the year after Yashin sat out, and there was a lot of ill feelings towards him around the team. So I'll never forget that first scrimmage. I was just praying that I was against them. And I remember talking with my agent, said, just chase him around. I'm like, all right. So I don't even know if I couldn't tell you if I touched the puck or if there was one on the ice. That was my only objective. I'll never forget that first scrimmage. And he's a big man. Like every time I went at him, I kept going at him and cross. Like you can't run him because he's solid on the ice. But I just stayed on him and nobody touched me. But it got grabbed by the media, and all of a sudden it was a way to make a name for myself. And I thank him for sitting out because it gave me something to go in. At that point in my career, I needed to be noticed. I was willing to do anything. And I'll never forget. You're right there, Yorkie. I just chased him around. I literally went on the ice and just chased him around. I don't know if there's a puck there or what, but I would just check, hack. I remember Arby came up once to say, you can't do that.
Like Math, just one. So I'll tell you this. Like we were a pretty soft team. Like Nides will tell you this. So there was an opportunity for we usually only had one tough guy, and the way we played, it was turn the other cheek. So Nides was a breath of fresh air, and like my comment on Yash, it's like nobody was really going to do anything because guys were kind of happy.
That was my follow up.
It's not that we didn't like Yash.
Because you do that in today's game. If you got some new player coming in and he's chasing around your star player, someone's going to do something. So no one went near you, Nides?
No one went near me. I remember, like I said, Magnus Arvidsson came up and said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," or I forget what Arvidsson said. He's not going to do anything.
No.
But yeah, and it was kind of, and it was even around the league that year. Like, not only that lead to get my name noticed, Yash also kind of led to me getting my nickname. And Yorkie and Donnie Brennan can argue it out. I don't know who wants to take claim for it, but we were playing the Florida Panthers, and teams would still challenge. Like back then, the guys looked down on somebody to sit out a year, right? It was unheard of then. Nowadays, it's it's business. Yeah. Guys are more business minded, and we were playing Florida, and Peter Worrell and Todd Simpson cornered Yashin in the corner, and it was during game, and I came flying in to fight them both. And next day, the headline was Sheriff Shane Hnidy, and I'll let Yorkie finish. Donnie Brennan wrote the story, but Yorkie says he's the one who claimed it.
Yeah, we were calling you that before then, but I'll let Donnie have his day. Poor Donnie, he's had a tough go. We'll give it to him.
Because I remember that practice and covering it and going, nobody really went over to try and stop you from going at Yashin. Like it felt like the entire team wanted you or somebody just to kind of settle this, like a brother thing. Like, someone's going to have to make you eat an Uncle sandwich, and then we're all going to move on. And that's the way it felt. Once that was over, there was nothing else that year that I can remember about.
It's amazing to me that somebody thought it was a good idea to anoint him captain. Like, that alone says everything you need to know. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. And Yorkie, you touched on that. I don't need you to repeat it, obviously. And I'm sure he's okay. But, like, obviously not a captain, no?
Well, that's kind of the hope that we all kind of knew that he was being given the seat to make him play harder, and that was the hope. And it was weird. It was a weird thing. But at the time, we had Randy Cunningworth before that. He was an unbelievable guy, older guy, 35 years old, fighting, working, like the respect of the entire team. And then they gave it to Yash. But it was more, some teams used to do that.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like when Ovechkin was given the captain in Washington, did he really deserve it? Not really. Like, he didn't play a 200-foot game. It's like this guy makes the most money. It's not the first time that a mistake has been done.
Yeah. I'm glad
before we forget. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I loved Yash too, and I think Yorgie's right. But that started my career. He's got a big stake on helping me out. So I don't know if he watched. I'm sure he watches this. So thanks, Yash.
He never misses an episode.
Never misses one.